Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast series where we explore the ins and outs of the Canadian Startup Visa Program. Today, we have a special focus on employment and adaptation in the Canadian job market. We are thrilled to have Marina Zmeu, an expert on employment and adaptation, to join us today. Marina will share valuable insights on navigating the Canadian job market, finding job opportunities, and preparing for interviews. Marina, thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm very glad to be here, and let's dive in. I'll be glad to share my experience and useful thoughts about job market today.
Let's start with the basics. Can you give us an overview of the Canadian job market and maybe the key differences compared to other countries?
It's important to consider, like the main thing I would say, network. This is the main difference. What I see people, I would say, from Eastern Europe don't use in Canada because they either don't believe in it or don't know how to use this. So network is key. Another thing, use properly and proper channels. First, Indeed is a very important channel to use for job search. Glassdoor, for example. LinkedIn, another platform which is very useful in Canada because you can find there are some positions which are not listed somewhere else, even hidden positions, which you kind of need to have hints and tips how to find them. But anyway, this is another thing to consider. And another important thing is resume itself, because in a lot of countries you can post somewhere your resume and just forget about this. Like people will find you, but here you should tailor your resume for the positions. So you need to not only research for the positions, but to analyze each position properly and then to tailor resume for the positions. So these are main things which need to be considered while searching for job in Canadian market.
Right. And tell me, please, as I know that Canada is a social country, so the importance of your background on the cultural fit, is that important in Canada right now when you're looking for a job?
Yes, very much. Like people would say, we don't look for an ideal person. We are looking for a good fit for our company. So nobody is ideal in general, right? So that's why we need to research about the company, and in the positions a lot, many times we would see that companies post about diversity, about cultural fit, about inclusion, for example. So it will be posted, and you need to emphasize this while, for example, being at the interview and sometimes in cover letter. Another thing to consider in Canadian job market, I would say cover letter, to add it to your resume, because you can show why you want to be in this company using your cover letter, why they should consider you. In resume, you show who are you, right? Your personal background and stuff like that. But in cover letter, you will put, like person would put information why this particular person wants to be hired by this company. And this will be that fit for the company, considered as a personalized application. Yeah.
Right. That's great advice, Marina. Speaking of resumes, what are some tips for creating an effective resume for the Canadian job market?
First of all, think about your picture twice and never put it in your resume while looking for a job in Canada, because here, if you put your picture, your resume will just be thrown away. So nobody will consider your resume if it has picture. So that's one thing. Another thing, resume needs to be based on not what this person was doing, what obligations he was doing during his previous job, but on the achievements. What results did you achieve? What numbers specifically? So results need to be based on numbers. You achieved this and this, using this and this. To use action verbs. In, let's say, if we're talking about the previous job positions, it should be then like it's done. So I, let's say, developed implicated or stuff like that. And if you are working on this right now, so this can be like just the first form of verb. Third, grammatically verified. That's another thing to consider, because a lot of companies are looking for an attentive person who can do this and this. And even if you are that kind of person, but your English is not perfect in your resume, it doesn't build trust. We are not native speakers anyway. And no matter how great is your English level, always check your grammar. So it shouldn't have any mistakes. Another thing to consider is your resume has to have summary. Recruiters look at the resume for about 6 to 7 seconds. And if the resume doesn't catch attention right away, if I don't understand anything about this person in those 6-7 seconds, I'm just throwing it away. Do not put hobbies, do not put your marital status, how many children you have, how old are you? No way. No religions, nothing like that. And again, do not write responsibilities, because I see a lot of things related to this, like in Eastern Europe, but it doesn't make you to stand out as a candidate from other people who made the same thing. Like if we are looking at 2 or 10 candidates who were in the same position, they were doing pretty much the same thing. So if you are just writing responsibilities, then why you should be hired? That's pretty much it.
And Marina, what about LinkedIn? How can a job seeker leverage this platform in their job search?
That's a great platform. I love it, and I suggest everyone to use this platform. Just a few days ago, I was talking to someone, and I realized in Canada, there are about 39 million people now in Canada, and 23 million are having LinkedIn profile. So like half of the population of the country, this is a lot. So LinkedIn is really very, very useful here. People really use it for network, for looking for a job, for training purposes, for building their personal brand. And 97% of recruiters, they look for the person who, let's say, who applied for the position. They want to know him better, and they look for him in LinkedIn. And recruiters trust people who they find on LinkedIn. They trust them more. So again, LinkedIn is very popular. Build, please, your profile over there. It should emphasize your experience, your skills, and it's like a business card. It's just a huge one, but it's like a business card. So please use it. You can look for a job there. You can build your brand and network with colleagues. It's great.
That's insightful, Marina. Thank you. Now let's talk about interviews. What should job seekers do to prepare for a successful interview in Canada?
First of all, research about company, whatever you can find. Company is looking for somebody to fit. So that's why if the person research about company's background, then the candidate can understand better why actually I want to be part of this company. And then when they go to the interview, they understand how to answer those particular questions. So, and again, another thing to consider is to rehearse. And there are tons of questions company can ask, but still there are about 40 to 50 questions most of the companies would ask. And let's say one of them is tell me about yourself. So a good presentation is needed here. Another question you need to consider is why we should hire you. So here the person would understand how they fit to this company. Prepare a few examples, again, of the results they brought to the previous companies, because based on those results, this particular company can understand that, yeah, we know that this guy or girl, they are wonderful. I want them to bring us the same results they brought to the previous company. And prepare a few good questions to the interviewer, because it's like in every interview, the candidate will be asked to ask questions. And if somebody says, well, I don't have any questions, that's a bad sign. It means either he is not interested in that position very much, or he didn't do a research, so that's why he doesn't know anything about the company, doesn't have specific questions. And think about the salary. That's another thing too. So research about the salary, what kind of salary you can obtain. Of course, I'm not talking even about dressing properly and stuff like that. This is obvious, right? You are at the interview. You need to look good. You need to look according to the situation and smile. That's another thing. Yeah.
Thank you, Marina, for sharing these valuable insights. Before we wrap up, do you have any final advice for our listeners who are looking to find employment in Canada?
If people are researching the companies, tailor their resume to each particular position, think about their experience based on the numbers and results, preparing for the interview and using network, this will be a good start. And think about timing too, because I like this phrase that looking for a job is a job itself already, right? It's not just, click and you have this job. So just give yourself time. Don't be pushy on yourself. And the more you prepare, the better. This will help you not only to find a job, but to find a good company, a well-paid position, and be ready while you are waiting for your startup visa, for example. Yeah.
Thank you, Marina, for your time and expertise. I'm sure our audience gained valuable insights that will help them find employment in Canada.
Thank you for inviting me, and I'm also very glad that I could give some useful advice for everyone. And welcome to Canada. We'll see you here.
That's it for today, folks. Until next time, and happy job hunting.